Alright, ECE 173, Assignment 6. We were asked to write 3 programs, one of which displays 1 through 15 in a right triangle formation. The second displays 1 through 36, except this time it's in rows in a right triangle. And then this third one displays stars and spaces in triangular format. So getting into this first one here, it starts off with the intro lines of code, and then the declaration of variables, I and J for the for loops, and then D for the digit. So it starts out at 1, and then this first for loop here is going to determine the number of lines, which is going to be 5. And then the second for loop here is going to determine the values of each line, or how many values are going to be on each line. And then what's inside will determine what values they are. So for both, there's going to be 5 lines, and then there's going to be, like for the first line, there will be 1 value, second, 2, and then so on, all the way up to 5. So then it starts off printing 1, and then resets D, makes a new line. So now D equals 1 plus 1, 2. It's line 2, and there's 2 entries on that line. So it'll run through this twice, and it'll be 2 and then 3. And then it'll do that for all the lines all the way up to 15, and then it'll end. So let's see what that looks like. Yep, just 1 through 15. Then line 1 has 1, line 2 has 2, and all the way down to line 5. So now moving on to the second question. Same as before, just intro code and the declaration of variables, which this time I had to use 2 more. I used E as a temporary variable, and then K to determine the number of lines for this formula down here, but I'll get into that as I go. So, starting off as before, a for loop to determine the number of lines, and then another for loop to find out what values and how many entries are going to be on each line. So here, the temporary variable is set to D, which is 1 right now, and it'll go through. So this is the first line. It'll run through this, print that out, go to a new line. Now D is set to equal to 2. It's the second line. Now it'll be, now it'll print out 2. And then now, since there's a second value needed, because there's 2 entries on the line, it'll be 2 plus K, which is 8, so it'll be 10, and then minus J, and it will give us 9. So when I run through this, it'll give 1, 2, 9, 3, 10, 16, and then the pattern goes as it goes down. Like on the final line, it'll be 8 plus 7 plus 6 plus 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1, and then it'll be similar, but just without the last respective value before. So like for the first one, it's just 2 plus 7, and then 3 plus 7 plus 6, and then all the way down. So, pretty cool. Now finally, this will be the star and space one, that triangle. So here, I had to use 3 for loops, so I did I, J, and K. And then here we had to make a character space, because that would give us the unique shape. So starting off, we have this first for loop, which deals with the number of lines. The second one, which deals with the number of spaces. And then the third one, which deals with the number of stars. So getting into it, for the first run through, j equals 1, and it goes all the way up to 6 minus I. So here there is going to be 5 spaces, just since that's what I told the computer. That's what they're, tired. As it goes down the line, it'll eventually be, there'll be 5 spaces, then 4, then 3, then 2, then 1. And then on the last line, there'll be 0 spaces. Can't talk today. And then getting into this one here, this will deal with the number of stars, which, if you look at the actual triangle here, there's always going to be an odd number of stars. So in the for loop, I kind of made it so it's 2 times I and then minus 1, because that's kind of just the definition of an odd number. Anything times 2 minus 1 is going to be odd. So for the first run through, there will be 5 spaces. This will be 6 minus I, which is 1. And then for the number of stars, it'll be 2 times I, which is 1, minus 1. And that'll give us 1 star. And then after that, it'll make a new line. Then repeat it. So at I equals 2, there will be 4 spaces. Then there will be 3 stars. And then at I equals 3, there will be 3 spaces, and then 5 stars, and then it goes all the way up to 11. So when running this, it'll give that nice pattern: 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. Where, and then like I said, at the end, I will be 6, so the number of spaces will be 0. And then it'll be 2 times 6, 12, minus 1, 11. So, kind of some neat patterns. Kind of had to think about it in some interesting ways. But, thank you very much. As always, I'll post the link to the YouTube video and a copy of the codes, and have a good spring break.